What's up, Tiger Gang? It's JT from the Poco Moonshine family. This is chatting with Carnivores here. Today we got Zach. What's up, Zach?
Hey, how you doing?
If you guys don't know, Zach is the inventor of the Tiger Gang saying. He texted it to me one day, and I just fell in love with it. And I was like, dude, Zach, can I use that? And he was like, sure. He was nice enough to say yes. Um,
Yeah, man. Mhm.
and he's nice enough to come on here and share a story, you guys. He's a fellow carnivore, and I think he's got a real inspirational story. He's a real inspirational guy, great guy. I'm glad to call him a friend. Zach, where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Oh, so I'm here from coastal North Carolina. I've lived here most of my life. I left and came back and did that whole thing. Spent some time out west for a little while, but I've been here for the majority of my life, and yeah, yeah.
So, are you liking it down there? Like, you ever see? I have plans one day to move to Florida. That would be nice.
Florida, nice. Yeah. Talk about humidity out there, man. It's cool. Yeah, I mean, my family's so well dug in here at this point, and like everybody we know here is we got extended family and all that. The climate I have never exactly gotten used to. It's humid and all that. I mean, we're they have the beaches and everything too, and it gets a little salty from time to time too. But I'm
Yeah.
pretty cool to be from here. Yeah.
So, do you go to the beaches at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go hang out, do all that. I never really got into surfing, but maybe one of these days,
Hey, on Carnivore, you can put a whole bunch of things on your list,
I know Paul Saladino's out there doing all that stuff too, and
Yeah.
he's pretty regular with it.
Yeah, we have a beach here in Wisconsin. You wouldn't think we don't have access to the ocean, but we've got Lake Michigan. It's like the
Oh
biggest.
yeah, the Great Lakes up there.
Yeah, yeah. And it's we do have a decent beach in Milwaukee, so that's
Oh,
pretty
cool.
cool.
I had no idea.
So, um can you share what led you to the carnivore?
Yeah, so man, I tell you, just like growing up on like standard American stuff, to like, and my family was always big. My dad had his first heart attack when he was like 41, man, and so I was like 16 at the time. It kind of scared the crap out of me. I'm like, this stuff's coming for you, right? So, and he actually passed away last year. Um, from another one. But
Sorry to
I
hear
think
that,
that's
bud.
what. Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. But that's kind of what got the wheels spinning, And I was real big into the whole punk rock thing at the time, and veganism comes with that. So I was like, well, this is the right animal fat, saturated fat. This is the enemy, obviously. So I'm gonna eat these beans and these salads and stuff. But it never
Yeah.
you know so I went down that whole rabbit hole, and then once YouTube hit around 2009, I started looking at guys like Dan McDonald, Robert Morse, big raw vegan influencers on YouTube, and what they were talking about made sense. Looking back on it, I'm not 100% on all the conclusions, but so I kind of went along with that stuff for a long time, and then just never really got completely on the wagon. It would be like, you go like destroy a bag of apples, and then like 3 hours later, I'm like, all right, where's a burger,
Yeah.
So all that, and that continued on for a number of years, and till let me see. Until yeah, it was actually like we were talking about the other day. I saw Vegetable Police, and he was like, I switched from raw to carnivore, and then all my IBS and stuff started clearing up, and I was like, man, if anything is a load of cap, it's got to be that, right? So because
Right.
I'm so hooked on all the informational messaging at that time and all that. And another thing, practicality too, like you take a guy like Dan McDonald, and he's in his mid 40s. He can probably run a marathon and not break a sweat, all this, but dude's 24/7 on his diet, right? So
Right.
it's like you got to get stuff that's available all over the world. And I mean, you got to move to Honolulu and tropical and all this stuff, and supplementation and the enzyme therapy and all that. And
Amber
it's
and Dan say, "Hey, hey."
hey guys. And- but it becomes like a 24/7 kind of thing too, and I'm a busy guy. I've
Yeah.
got the fam and everything, so it was just like this
Didn't you
became a whole
mention
lot more
teaching
difficult.
music?
I do, yeah. So I teach music, a bunch of different instruments. I play here locally, just all sorts of stuff, man. So I've got a lot going on, and this was like easy to get into and simple enough, and I think I had to kind of absorb enough of it to like unconvince myself that like you're going to keel over in the first 2 days,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like that, I'm sure we all have that turning point. I mean, this as
Your
far as
face honestly looks smaller already.
really, thank you. Yeah,
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 dude. I noticed it today. I was like, wow, like you're off
cool.
to a blazing start, man.
That's
How many
amazing.
days carnivore are you?
So like 8 days and I'm down like 10 or 11 pounds, I think.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome. About 10, 11 pounds in 8 days. You guys, my wife did damn near a pound a day for almost a whole month. Like
that's amazing, dude.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, it's just like a blessing to find the carnivore diet.
It's cool. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And watching guys like, Saladino and what is it? We all know the names, I'm sure. Saladino, Sean Baker, he's another one. And I think they really help bring it home as well too.
Yeah.
That you see a guy like that that's been doing it for, I think Baker's been on it for like 8 years, and he's obviously super jacked and in his late 50s. So
Hmm.
that's amazing. Love that stuff.
Yeah, it gives me a lot of courage just watching them. I'm like, man, this is gonna be awesome for me to get my own results, because not everybody can get same results, because we have different health problems or whatever. You
Right.
speaking of which, was there a specific like health goal you had in mind when you started carnivore?
It's the weight, man. At least starting off with that too. And I've had a couple of scares. So I have the GERD real bad, So and I know you had mentioned like some IBS as well too, but
Hmm.
like this thing where the air gets trapped in there and then it'll build pressure and then eventually like with the release and the belching and all that, and but the pain will kind of spread. So
Have you
there's
tried
been
any probiotics?
I haven't, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, what helped me give me some temporary relief, like while I was still, because the carnivore takes some time to heal us,
Mhm.
Phillips colon health, and it helped with the
Yeah,
gas, bloating, um, diarrhea, and constipation. That's why it's called four in
interesting.
one, and it's amazing. I wish someone would have recommended me because when I was still suffering from that, I would have took anything just to have a normal ass day. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, and that's so scary, that I've been to the doctor a couple times in the past year thinking like, geez, dude, it's the big one, like here we go, like better run over to the ER, and then they're like, dude, chill out, you're fine. Like,
Yeah.
and 2 hours later, I feel better, but like the episodes like that, um I had one the other day where I was feeling kind of squirrely, but then it settled down much quicker than it would have otherwise.
Hmm.
And so far at least the gas aspect seems to be chilling out a little bit.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were when I saw your video, you had mentioned you had inspiration like Carrie, you liked watching Homestead How, and
Praise the man, dude.
that I
Yeah.
that's why I related to you like that Carrie was my inspiration.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, no, I love his stuff, man. And I guess he started off in just like doing stuff around the house, right? Like the Homestead How is like
Hmm.
literally the name with that channel, right? But I know he's up in Alaska now, unless he's gotten
Yeah, he's
back.
back now. Yep.
Back now. Okay,
Hmm.
cool. Well, very cool to watch that trip. And I just love his energy, man. Like, where he's at on the 30-day video, he's already lit up. And then contrast with like the 100-day video, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, and
Yeah, and
so
I tell you, yeah, he's got a ton of energy, and he's really like swinging for the fence for everybody with this carnivore diet documentary.
amazing. Yeah,
But
love
yeah,
that.
when I saw that video, I was like, I could totally relate to you, man, because he's my inspiration too. You know what I'm saying? He's
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and it was nice you were checking out my videos, and like I told mentioned earlier, you coined the Tiger Gang, so everybody
Mhm.
if they're if they're wondering, yeah, he's chose to ride the tiger in his life, and I'm very proud of you, man.
Thank
Like,
you. I appreciate that, bro.
have you noticed anything in the first couple of days here that you've increased energy or anything, or is it still too early yet?
A little bit. So I just like feel kind of on balance. Like it's um excuse me. So we've got like definitely an oppressive sun factor out here, right? So like that's I hate being outside in the summertime. Usually it's like the humidity and it's like hot. But I was out the other day and it was like probably 95, and it was just like, it's here, but it's like not that bad, and
Mm-hmm.
just like feeling like kind of in the center of things. Not like I don't know, because I think the sugar is a factor as well too. Where there have been times in the past year or so where like we would have pizza, right, and I would get down on some of that, and 4 or 5 slices in, and then chase that with the Dr Pepper, and then like 90 minutes later, it's just like, bro, I don't want to move. I'm just a
Yeah.
lot right now. This is
Mm-hmm.
awful. Why did I do this? And then you do that like 3 or 4 times a week, not with pizza specifically, but just like a
For
lot of
me, I
stuff.
would. I'd eat
You
like a
would,
Ninja Turtle, man.
yeah, right, right. I hear you, man. Yeah, and just like that has not happened in the past week or so, which is really cool. Like I just finished up with lunch about 20 minutes ago, and it was like feels completely normal.
That's great. What did you eat?
Well, for lunch I just had like a T-bone and about 8 egg yolks. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm trying to get them right to where you can cook them just long enough. And I started using one of these pans with the black coating on the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but cook them long enough to where uh, they don't
One of the
rupture.
non-stick pans?
Yeah, nonstick, which I think is probably an issue too. I probably got to go cast iron. But like you see all the people like on Reddit with the slidey eggs, and I can't do that yet, man. I just gotta figure that whole thing out. But just like I don't know, they're good when they're like fully cooked and just the yolk. It's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Amber and Dan's Carnivore Life. I love how easy
Way of eating.
this way is okay. No weighing, no measuring, counting. It's simple. Meat, eggs, animal fats. Boom.
Exactly.
Thank you for helping me. English isn't my that's all I speak, but it's still not my stronghold.
Oh no, that's another internetism I think too. There's all
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, just like OMAD too. I remember asking what that is like.
Oh, way of eating. Okay,
Way of eating.
trust
Yeah.
me. Yeah, sorry guys. I'll get a hang of it.
You got it. But yeah, no, to her point, it does make it extremely simple, man. I mean, like I remember like pacing around the grocery store for just like it would seem like an hour sometimes, just like, can I do this? Can I do that? And it's like now you just boom, go hit the meat department. Whether it's like a pound of ground beef and mix that into eggs, or like the other day, you and I were talking with the prosciutto, the charcuterie stuff, like
Yeah,
that's
could
all
you
nice.
explain it to them? I didn't know what it was until you were talking about it.
Oh, charcuterie is yeah, yeah. So you've seen like Hillshire Farms where they'll sell it at the mall. It's like a wooden board and there'll be like cheeses and little crackers and stuff too. So just skip the crackers, but like all the fancy Italian kind of dried meats and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You know, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
And JT, I hate to pause you, but I've got a baby waking up. If I can go grab
Oh,
her
sure.
out,
Of
is
course, of
that all
course.
right? Yeah, cool. Give me one.
Yeah, no, you're all good. Yeah, you guys, Zach's a great guy, and I hope he's gonna keep on coming here and giving us updates and stuff. I'm sure he will. Um, I have two more interviews today. I have Chad, the minimalist carnivore, and I have Amber and Dan after that. So it is going to be a busy day, and he's back already. I didn't have to.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, how it is. When they wake up, they want out of the room. That's how my son
Yeah,
is.
hey, man. Oh,
Yeah,
really? Yeah, yeah. Very cool. Yeah,
yeah.
so you've still got the baby gate up in the back there.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. And I had it closed. I was like, "Why is it?" He's napping right now, so it's
Right.
perfect timing. Yeah. And when he naps, he sleeps for about at least an hour and a half. Like it's like a
That's pretty
little
good.
sleeps like a little baby cub bear.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I
Hmm.
remember we didn't do the gate. We just got the hallway right over here. But I would be like barricading it, working from home last
Yeah.
year. It's like,
Thanks, Bryant. I appreciate that. He says doing great, JT. I just had him on here. You should check out his interview too if you when you get a chance, bud. I know you've been real busy lately.
oh, it's
But
all good,
he's
man.
Bryant's a great guy and he's on his journey too. And it's just so fun meeting, all these carnivores and we can all like support each other on our journeys. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. We should really set up like a Discord or something, where we can get like a big or like a Slack channel, something like that, where we can just all get in there and chat.
Yeah, I was
groups.
that's one of YouTube's been prompting me to start a Discord, and I just got my membership started yesterday. So if you guys are watching, I have my memberships activated. There's 3 levels. The top level, the ultimate fans level, you can get coaching from me personally, so that'd be awesome. Um, yeah, so I remember you were saying that Carrie was your inspiration. I did want to surprise you, bud. And
Oh no, what's up, Carrie?
What's up? How's it going? Tiger
yeah,
Gang. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Tiger Gang. Yep. This is the guy who helped it start here. And Carrie, man, you're a big inspiration to both of us. And I really could relate to Zach. So, and Carrie, look at this guy. He's in this neck of the woods. He's known as Care Bear for a
No,
reason.
look at my name down there, Kerry Tiger Gang. I gotta go the other way.
There you go. I love it, dude. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
How's
Carrie,
it going, Zach?
great to meet you, man. Yeah, oh, doing really good. I don't know if you heard the rest of the interview so far, but coming up on day 8, I've been watching a ton of your content. Really love that you made that trip out there to Alaska. You know, and just your energy is contagious, man. So you know, it was part of what helped me take the plunge. So I'm really grateful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm fired up. I'm happy for you. Day 8 is awesome. So that's usually getting through the hard part right there. That first week is usually tough for people.
You know, yeah, it was tough, and there had been a couple of false starts, you know, over the past couple of months where it was like, you know, 2-3 days at a time too. But I think that helped kind of prime me. You know, there was one lady that was asking me a question like, you know, I'm struggling like 4 days in too, and it's like, I know what you feel or what you're feeling, man, because it's not easy, especially with like the sugar hangups and everything. And
yeah,
you know, I mean, I was on all the Dr. Pepper and all that stuff too, and just like wanted to chug that stuff down. But I mean, you come around to it. You know, that wheel keeps turning. So
yeah. Once you get past that sugar and junk addiction, it could take a little while. It goes away forever. JT, I think you're there now, right? Too, for sure.
Yeah, it's the first 5 days was terrible because my wife hadn't joined me and there were still chocolate donuts and I would just stare at them. I'm like, dude,
smelling them walking by. Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. But and recently it was tough at the zoo smelling the popcorn wagon.
Oh,
I was like, dude, I started speed walking. I was like, I gotta go.
You can't talk about popcorn on here, JT.
I know. I even said in the video, I said, Carrie's on another level. You work around popcorn I don't understand how you do it.
Hey, that has been the closest. The donuts, the sugar, the junk food, the popcorn was the closest thing to breaking me early on because we took over the movie theater. Actually, yesterday was 1 year, but every night at the movie theater, long story short, because I rambled too much, the first week we screwed up the popcorn. And it sounds so stupid, like how hard is it to make popcorn? But there's a science to making good movie theater popcorn. You got to have the oil at the right temperature, the right amount. You can't put the kernels in too soon or they get tough and chewy. So we kind of screwed it up the first week. So every day we would run the movie, I would test the popcorn myself. So I did that every day leading up to Carnivore. And it's happened a couple times. In fact, like a week ago, I was making the popcorn. It was like getting really busy. I took a little handful. I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I almost did it again.
Yeah, that's your paradigm way deep in there. You still got to make sure it stays buried. It's tough, man.
Yeah.
You get into that motion and you just almost zone out and it's like you catch yourself. You're like, whoa, you woke up and
it's kind of silly on one hand too, because like really what would one piece of popcorn do for me? But on the other hand, I had such an addiction before. I can't moderate. If I had one piece of popcorn or if I had one kid ordered some nerds yesterday at the theater. I'm like, if I had one of those nerds, I would go off the rails and probably gain all the weight back. It sounds dramatic, but I can't moderate at all. So,
hey, Carrie, could you give him like 3 good tips, you know, that would help him on his carnivore journey that maybe helped you?
Absolutely. Get enough fat. Everyone tries and nobody gets enough fat. Dr. Kiltz told me last week, well, right before I went to Alaska, he's like, it shouldn't be called carnivore. It should be called fativore. If you ate only meat and like lean steaks, you would literally die. You get rabbit poisoning and you would die. You have to eat way more fat than you would think. my mom, I'm actually JT. After this, I'm doing a live stream with my mom and stepdad.
Yeah,
They've been
Meet the
carnivore.
Parents. I
Yeah.
love that, dude. And that's one of the my favorite movies too.
Yes,
I
mine
love
too.
that,
It's a
dude.
great one.
Yeah.
But they're thriving on it. She just bought a big thing of she went to the butcher. It was like $1 a pound, a big thing of fat, cut it up into little cubes, put it in the air fryer with some salt on it. Like the fat grosses people out. I don't know about you, Zach. It did me. Like I didn't mind it a little bit, but on a steak, when you get that big rubbery on the end and the texture's kind of weird. You cut that up though, that rubbery gross part, you cut that up, put it in the air fryer, put some salt on it or a cast iron skillet. You will start craving it, and that is what your body needs. They call it fat.
Is delicious.
So get enough fat. That's one. The other tip is you get any cravings whatsoever. Well, I guess I didn't catch the whole thing before. Are you doing beef, butter, bacon, eggs, or are you just doing?
Well, so I'm doing a lot of sausage, and that's what I wanted to ask you about too. Not a lot of sausage, but we do have a Piggly Wiggly locally here, which if you're not familiar, it's like a pork grocery store.
Yeah. Shop the pig.
Yeah, like the country ham, right? You know, like that stuff is really good. I had a ham steak the other day because it was like $4, and it's this whole big thing, you know, and it's like really good. So, you know, with the pork as well too, and I'll probably do some seafood, but for the most part, it's been like steak and eggs and stuff, you know.
Okay, as I was gonna say, if you're doing bacon is the power move for sure. It got so many people, myself included, through carnivore, especially like you're 8 days in, you're still going to have some sugar cravings and things like that. Any craving you get, have some bacon. My daughter, Emma, made up a whole batch. She'd have it in the refrigerator. We'd eat it cold, whatever. I get a little craving. It will stomp those cravings and you won't have them anymore. Yeah, on the sausage and stuff, I try to avoid sausage, but it's fine for some people. You just got to be a detective basically, because sometimes they'll put a bunch of sugar and spices and stuff in there.
Right.
It could mess you up. But on the flip side, Dr. Barry did a really good video. He's like, hey, if you're eating that, or you're eating even like deli meat or hot dogs or the cheapest meat you can get, frankly, it's still probably 100 times better than standard American diet and what I would have been eating anyways otherwise. So he always says, eat what you can afford, eat what you can do. But just be careful because, yeah, some of that sausage can have a lot of sugar and stuff like that in it, or spices. It's crazy that sugar's in literally everything in the grocery store.
Yeah, you have to literally check all the back of everything, and like he said, with like a magnifying glass, like, and suspect it, you know, until you don't see it.
Let's see. So that was 2. Another one is, well, I don't know if you're doing the electrolytes, but it sounds like you're doing pretty good so far your first week. My wife Jen didn't do good. She didn't transition into it well, and she wasn't having enough of the electrolytes. Some people are like, some people are just fine without them. I think Dr. Chafee's like, you don't really need those. But I did the electrolytes, especially the first 10 days or 2 weeks or so. I still do them now. But I guess the best advice is if you start feeling off at all, like, man, I'm just really tired today, I got a headache, it's probably your electrolytes. Or you get any cramps, leg cramps, weird muscle aches, get yourself some electrolytes. That'll fix it. And it's amazing how fast it can fix it too. But the electrolytes are important. People overlook those. The other, that was 3, but I'm going to give him 4. I'm an overachiever here. This is the most important one.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, this is the most important one. Don't cheat at all. People get mad at me for saying that. I'm not shaming people. If you cheat, obviously don't quit. If you cheat, you know, start back up and do it. But some people go into this because they've done every single diet in the world, myself included, counting calories, OMAD, Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers. And this diet is not like those diets where you count you do your points. People do their points on Weight Watchers or whatever. And then they're like, oh, I did so good all week. I hardly had any points. I'm going to have a little birthday cake. It's not going to hurt because my points are down. You do that on carnivore, you kick yourself out of ketosis, and it could take you another week. You could go through the keto flu again. That first week, that's so hard for a lot of people. And it might not have been too hard for you, but maybe if you go through it again and again, it could get harder. You might have to go through all of that again, and then you're not losing the weight because you're no longer in ketosis or fat burning mode. It's never worth it. Some people will do it, and they'll say, oh, I'll do it once a week. I'm fine. It's not that big of a deal. But you'll get to a point, Zach, where it's just like, I am now in total control. It's kind of corny. I've said it many times, but like I'm now the captain of my ship. There's something that switches in your brain where you're like, no, man, I'm in control now. I don't need these sugar and Pop-Tarts and cereal and 100 different ingredients. I'm going to eat a steak and I'm going to do what I want for the rest of the day. It's just a really liberating, like freeing thing when that happens. And it's kind of like you did this to lose weight or for a diet, but when that switch sort of turns in your brain, you have like a whole new lifestyle, and then everything else starts changing too, which is just crazy.
That's awesome.
What was your biggest challenge when you started, Carrie?
Mine was the family. So my family's awesome, but my family has the most, my immediate family of where there's 6 of us. We got triplets plus 1 and Jen. Jen's vegetarian when I started. Emma was vegan when I started. So even those two on their crazy diets were eating different things, because Jen would have like eggs, but Emma won't touch eggs. And then my daughter Katie's always been really picky. My daughter Alyssa was doing carnivore with me a little bit, and my daughter Lily, I don't know what she was doing. That was a challenge, because you're trying to cook a meal, and like people are always like, carnivore's so expensive. It's really not if you do the math compared to what you were eating before, and you're honest with the math, and you count the Starbucks and the coffee and the junk food at the gas station, the popcorn, you count all that. But it is expensive when you have a family of 6 and everyone has a completely different meal at mealtime. So I was like, a lot of times I'd go out, I'd just be off by myself by the grill. Jen's in here doing like her hard-boiled egg thing, and Emma's not eating any eggs. So that was a challenge. I was so fortunate though, because I dipped my foot in the water with keto before this, and I had good success with keto. I lost a bunch of weight many years ago. Not as much as I did now, but I gained it all back and then some. So I really, my biggest challenge was I was in so much pain. I had so many issues. People are always like, dude, you're so fired up now. You're so enthusiastic. And I'm like, if you would have,
you are though, compared to your old videos though.
Compared to before, I am. But if you were in my body before, I'm not exaggerating this at all. I felt horrible. Brain fog. I couldn't think. Depression, anxiety. I was on every antidepressant. But even when I first started carnivore, you asked what was hard. I was just in pain all the time. My foot was at its worst. For 18 months, I had this arthritis. They thought it was gout in my foot. And it was just killing me. Every time I'd step my foot down, I would wince. It was like I was stepping on a thumbtack or I had a broken foot. And it just got worse and worse. So when I started carnivore, it was just intense pain from that alone. All of that's gone now. Every single one of those things is gone now, including, which is just amazing, the foot. They were going to do surgery on my foot. I saw 3 different foot specialists, and the guy's like, we got to cut your toe off, basically. We got to relieve all this pressure and get it out. But
yeah,
it's all gone.
Remember, there's a video you were making your raised garden beds, and you were splitting the tree. And you were about halfway through it, and you were sitting down, and you were like,
it's so funny.
Now, I don't think I've seen you sitting down unless you're doing a live stream. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like you're in Alaska, you're here, there.
Yeah, and it's so funny. You're mentioning videos. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even remember doing that. Now I do that. You said it. Yeah, you go way back on the Homestead How videos. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's what I said. Compared to your old videos, man, you've got the energy.
Well, JT too. It's funny because if you watch those videos, you can pop on one like 3 years ago, and you'd be like, this dude wasn't that fat. But then you pop on it 2 years ago and you're like, whoa, he's pretty fat. And then you go a year later, it's like, oh, he lost some weight. And then you go 6 months later, oh, he's fat. I yo-yoed because I've been going through to try to find my before and after pictures. There's a tip. I don't know, Zach, if you're going to be doing YouTube or not. Do you have a channel?
You know, I started off that way. That's how me and JT met. But I decided not to go with the channel, and I'm just kind of get involved otherwise. You know?
If you change your mind, though, or even if you don't, having those before and after pictures, it's great motivation for YouTube and just for yourself. But I've been looking through all the old videos, JT, to try to find the fat videos. And it was like, wow, I wasn't that bad there. And then I would go 6 months before that. I was like, whoa, I was that big. It was crazy how much my weight fluctuated over the years.
Yeah, I've been finding my fat photos too. And I'm just like, wow, geez. And then some of them I look so pale. And then you could see the big bags under my eyes. And it just, I was smiling, but I wasn't truly, smiling inside really,
Right. Yeah.
But now I'm like, I feel like I'm just vibrating,
Yeah. I'm happy
Zach
for
had
you.
mentioned to me he's got some audio skills and stuff if you ever need someone for the documentary, right? Zach,
yes.
You had some background?
Yeah, I'm an audio engineer. I was gonna reach out and I sent an email to the website, but if there ever comes a time where you want like post editing or stuff like that too, I'd love to check you out.
100%.
Keep in mind.
100%. That is my biggest weakness, and Zach has probably noticed it. Like, I luckily the audio I caught for Bill was really, really good. Maybe not some of the stuff I showed, but the stuff that's going on in the documentary. I had this nice ceramic mic, and I took a bunch of time. We actually mounted it right above his head, and the audio was crisp, but I suck at audio. We did that live stream, the 10-hour. I had this little cordless mic. It started out okay, and there's buzzing in the background. And yes, I will definitely take you up on that. I appreciate it.
Oh man, yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, and
what type of mic do you think they had, like in that grandfather documentary?
oh,
Like,
that's a
that
good
was
one.
just there was like no talking in that whole thing, and it's just, to me, I love that. There was just like,
that was a great documentary.
That was
I got to
amazing.
rewatch it when it's been a while. Cool homesteading stuff, great shots.
Yeah, just you hear the wind, like it's just, and I'm telling you, like this documentary, like the footage you're already catching and on the ATV and stuff, I cannot wait.
I can't wait to share it. I am so happy. I didn't want to mess it up because you do YouTube for a long time now, JT. You could just have one little thing off. Here was the thing too. If you saw the video I did where Emma and I were going to the airport, it was completely blown out white. It looked horrible. And I'm not blaming her. It was my fault. But Emma was filming that, and she's left-handed, and she just kept hitting the little dial on the top, which was the exposure on the camera. She did it like 3 times. It was completely unintentional. But we got back. I'm like, all this footage is shot. I'm like, whatever. This is just this isn't going in the documentary. This is just the YouTube stuff. But one little thing goes off. But
she did amazing, man. Like, I honestly even see film in her future, or photography or something. She's like a natural.
I appreciate it. I told her the same thing because, well, you saw the little clip where she followed me out of the car into Bill's house. That was 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, that was she did.
That was 26.
Man, that's professional.
That was 26 minutes though. She nailed the whole 26. You guys didn't see it because some of it's going in the doc. I started in the car 7 minutes before we got to Bill's house, and I was given the whole backstory. And she did it. There was no reflections in the mirror. The camera didn't shake. And even when she got out of the car, we rehearsed that thing. Here's a little behind the scenes. I got to do a video on behind the scenes, but we rehearsed that thing at our Airbnb like 5 times, like literally getting out of the car and going into our Airbnb. And I walked in, I'm like, hi, Bill. I'm like, because not rehearsing and trying to like rehearse the meeting with Bill, but just the camera movements. Like, okay, I'll stand here, you go here. And I was so happy that turned out because it's like, we got one shot. And then the audio and the sound and everything. I can't wait to share that with people. But that wasn't the thing. The thing was Bill talking in front of camera. My goodness. There's this one clip in there that I showed it to. Well, Jen was in the video crying the other day. Also, I showed it to Katie, Alyssa, and Emma because Emma wasn't in the room when I filmed that with Bill. Every one of them were crying after watching that one.
Wow.
It was just he's such a good storyteller, but it's so emotional. You could just, I don't know, man. You could just feel his pain. And, but on the flip side too, it's not going to be this big sad documentary because then 2 minutes later he's got you laughing about something.
It's going to be very inspiring. Like that crying you're doing, you're relating to Bill, and you can put yourself in his shoes, you know, like with his perspective, and it's going to be powerful.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. So the next step, I appreciate advice from you, Zach, or JT, or whatever you got. The next step was I'm all fired up. We raised some money and we're doing the 24-hour live stream. I can actually start right now driving around the country and doing more Bill videos, but with all the other Bills around the country. And I'm either going to, well, first we got to do the 24-hour live stream before I leave for that. Okay. But it's either that or this guy, his name is Rock Salt. He's the coolest guy. He's a carnivore. He's done tons of documentaries and he's gotten movies on Netflix and Amazon and stuff. He was like, Carrie, we could do this pre-trailer trailer. It's called like a lookbook. It's like maybe 5-6 minutes and take the content I have with Bill and with other people like yourself and other people I've talked to up until this point. I mean, I've talked to every doctor now, Dr. Barry, Dr. Chafee, and we can put that all in this and be like, and then take that to Netflix and be like, this is what we want to do. Here's the start. We've got a really good start. You guys on board, and then they might agree to work with us, and then we can get more budget that way to do it all because we've raised so much money. It's great, but it's so expensive. When I go film Dr. Barry, I can't just go with me and Emma. We got to have a sound guy there. We're going to get like an hour with him. We got to do a professional job. And I mean, that could cost thousands of dollars just for Dr. Barry. And we got like 5 or 6 doctors already signed up to participate. So, but we're getting there, man, with the 10-hour live stream we did. And now this 24-hour one, it's going to be
24-hour record breaking live stream.
Zach, like, you got to join up on that one for sure.
I definitely want to. Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be in a month from now. So Zach, you'll be heading towards day 40 or something.
Day 40, yeah, it's exciting, man. Yeah, I think it's like late, kind of mid-September when you're doing that.
September 16th, and it's funny because Yesterday was our 1-year anniversary. We closed on the movie theater. September 16th is a 1-year anniversary. We reopened it. We played Back to the Future. It was the first movie we played. The theater was closed down for 2 years. So I'm going to be down in the basement live streaming while everyone's upstairs watching a new movie, but I'm okay with that. I'll be there Friday night, Sunday night. And then maybe I can take my phone up there too, JT. I was like, I'll be doing the live stream downstairs, but I can put that StreamYard right on the phone. Maybe I'll take it upstairs and walk through the theater, wave to everybody, and show.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, there's 800 carnivores on here. Say hi.
Yeah.
Well, then you got to have a premiere party once this thing actually comes out at your theater.
100%.
Thought of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Start getting ready for the red carpet.
Yeah, JT's coming out, man. We're getting everyone out. That's going to be something.
Nice.
The big thing I'm looking forward to is that, but also that day Bill walks out his door. I'm getting so many people. We got a year, JT. We got to get you out there. I was talking to Adam. He's like, I want to be there so bad when he walks out the door. And I'm like, well, let me first ask Bill and see if it's cool if there's a bunch of people. But I'm sure
honestly, if I would definitely go. Hands down, I would. Yep, I would go.
I'm like caravan to Bill's house.
I'm buying my ticket. Let's go.
Right. You got to fly, though. That's the thing. It's like a 58-hour drive. I'm like, oh, maybe we rent a big bus. Adam's not too far away.
And we got to be ready because you never know. He might take longer, and he might even just his energy lately. He's been on fire, so like he might even just kill it even faster. So like we got to be ready.
Yeah. Winter rolls around. I got to head out there a couple months from now and go out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Becky says Bill is my hero.
Awesome. Bill is going to be so many heroes. He already is. That guy, so inspiring.
Yeah, Bill's inspiring. Carrie's inspiring. Zach, he inspired me. That's why the three of us are even on this screen is Carrie, and
I appreciate that. Thank you. But you guys made the decision. That's the hard part. I always say. I'm happy I had some way to do it, but a lot of people aren't brave enough to make that decision. It goes against everything you've ever been told. You eat meat, you're going to have a heart attack. You got to eat your vegetables. You got to do all these things. So you got to be really brave to do carnivore. That's the hardest part for most people. So I'm happy for you, Zach. You got past the hardest part now. And you're past the first week, which is technically the second hardest part for most people. So
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, for anybody out there that's listening, it did take a couple of tries, man, but you keep leaning in that direction too, and you'll come across that line eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
I was telling Zach he already looks thinner, his face, and I can't see the rest of you, but your face is already looking thin, man, and you're starting to get that carnivore glow.
Yes.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's coming down. It's like 11 pounds day.
Nice.
11, so that's cool, man. Yeah.
Now, Carrie, Zach's a father too. You got any father tips for him?
Jeez. Be a carnivore. I am. I know I attribute everything to carnivore, but I feel like I'm such a better dad on carnivore. I'm so much more present and in the moment. This trip with Emma, obviously going to Alaska was great, but spending time one-on-one with Emma, she's a triplet, so it's always like the triplets and dad. It's always like three of them.
Wow.
But man, how old are your kids or your kid?
I've got a 6, a 2, and one on the way in November.
Wow.
All girls, man. So yeah, we're loaded up.
All girls, come on, man.
I got 4 of them here.
Yep.
Oh man, what other advice can I give you? Those years for me are all a blur because they were triplets and it was changing diapers and it was I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
But
you didn't have carnivore. You're probably tired as all get out, man.
Could you imagine if I had carnivore back then, man? I would have been a diaper changing machine. I was so tired. I have video from back then when we were changing them. It was like a factory setup. You change them all, feed them all, put them down, and then the next one was waking up and you're back up again. But
I can't even imagine, dude. I've thought about it before. I'm like, I don't know how he did it.
But Zach, well, everyone says this, but it's so true, man. It goes by so fast. You will snap your fingers, you'll blink your eyes, and they're going to be all grown up already. Triplets are 16 and they're driving now. My oldest is 18. She's out of high school now. It's insane. I can't even believe it. You got to slow down and cherish every moment. And I swear, I know I attribute everything to carnivore, but you stick to this carnivore thing, you're going to be you're going to be more present. That's what you got to do. It's hard for you to be present when you've got that brain fog. You got brain fog from inflammation and sugar, and you're going to get rid of all of that. You're going to be a lot more present. So,
yeah, that's what one of the things I'm looking forward to the most is, just like where did I leave the keys, all that, I'm constantly butterfingers with everything too. And it seems like that's coming around for a lot of people. So, hopefully all that stuff, we'll turn around eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I find happens kind of quickly for some people. Not like right away, but one of the early things people notice because, and you might start noticing this too. Bill has already started noticing his inflammation going down, and
Really?
He was talking about his
inflammation.
feet.
Yeah, his feet look way better and his legs. So everyone's been awesome with Bill. There's been like one or two people out of thousands of comments, so I'm not complaining, but they're like, I don't think that guy's 700 pounds because he doesn't look like huge in his face. If you guys saw this man's legs, which you will because he wanted me to show them in the documentary, all of his weight is in his legs. His legs, they look like, it looks like a garbage bag filled up with water, both of his legs.
Oh, wow.
It's just, and he's like, show it. I want to show it to the world and I want to see the before and after. And so when he was walking to the bathroom, he was telling me, Carrie, this is horrible. And this is really hard for me to carry 500 pounds across the room. However, I'm already noticing my legs aren't rubbing together quite as much. And it's not that he lost a bunch of fat in 3 weeks. I'm like, Bill, that's the inflammation. That's why his face is looking skinnier too. And it's gotten that glow. That inflammation, everybody on the entire planet watching this that's doing the standard American diet should be terrified of inflammation. Nobody cares about it at all. The only thing everyone out there in the real world's talking about is, oh, what's your LDL? What's your cholesterol? And it's the inflammation. It's the inflammation. It goes in there. It damages your blood vessels. The cholesterol goes there and tries to fix it. And then the cholesterol has gotten the blame. But it's the sugar. It's the inflammation that's getting so many people. And nobody's worried about it. I'm sorry. I could go on a rant about that. But my favorite video was Dr. Ovadia, who's on the 24-hour live stream, by the way. And he's on my channel next week, 1 week from today. He said in the last video I was watching, he said, if you have poor metabolic health, like if you have a lot of inflammation, you're pre-diabetic, you're eating sugar, you are 6 times more likely to die of heart disease. Wow. And I'm sorry to hear about your dad, Zach. I heard that just before jumping on here. You're 6 times more likely to have heart disease if you have poor metabolic health. If you have poor cholesterol or high LDL, it's like 1.2 times. It's literally 6-fold worse eating sugar and having inflammation, which everybody does. And it's so funny because now that I've lost weight, people are like, oh, you look so good, Carrie, but I want to see your LDL numbers. And meanwhile, they're eating donuts, the chocolate donuts and the sugar and everything. And they're at way higher risk for having a health problem than I am. I guarantee it, but nobody thinks about it. But the other thing too is, I get fired up with this stuff, but
no, that's why we invited you on.
Did you ever snore, Zach, or do you still snore?
Yeah, definitely all that too. And Dad was on the snorkel he called it.
I love that.
And I've not gone that route yet, but hopefully, that's gonna start kind of working itself out a little bit. But yeah, definitely the snoring.
The snoring has been the most common denominator with every carnivore I've talked to that snored. Mm-hmm. It happened for me, Jordan Peterson, week 1. I did the creepy little video where I was recording my wife sleeping, but I'm so happy I did that. Yeah. It was like a little science experiment, but it was amazing. It was just like, I am seeing my wife getting healthier. Every day on Carnivore, snoring went down 20%, 20%, 20%, gone forever. She snored for years. And that was in 5 days, no more snoring. People don't realize
inflammation, right?
Inflammation, yeah. Some of it's fat. Most of people's reasons for snoring is just inflammation. And if you don't believe me, you can just Dr. Jordan Peterson, first week, one of the smartest guys out there, stop snoring. That's one of his big testimonies. And the comments I get on YouTube, man, I get that comment all the time. I stopped snoring.
I was just telling Zach, I just started my memberships. I was procrastinating, and my top level on there, if people are wondering, it's got I can give some coaching in the emails, and oh man, I cut a little video on it, and I was telling Zach, people are saying you can't coach, who cares, like all sort, you got a belly, and I was just like, holy moly, like you got to ignore those people, because I learned that they're not happy with their lives like us carnivores are.
They're projecting. They know they're doing something wrong, and they're trying to take it out on you. You're gonna get that a lot too, JT. I have with family. They usually mean well. I think it's a subconscious thing, but they're like, "Oh, Carrie, you lost a bunch of weight," but then they try to find a negative in it because they're trying to justify the fact that they're still sitting there eating a donut and they're not feeling too good about themselves. So then they project it on you, but. Yeah, man, you got JT. You should be coaching. You got an inspirational story. You're doing it. You're living it.
Well, I am now, thanks to you. So
yeah, but that snoring, Zach. Watch that, or If you can have someone watch and record you, it's amazing when that goes down. Snoring is the worst thing people can do, and everyone's like, it's not that bad. You're
Ruins your
tossing and
sleep,
turning
right?
all night. Your body's not regenerating. The next COVID comes around, or the flu or pneumonia or something, it's going to wipe you out. Your immune system's not going to be ready for it because you're not getting that sleep. Carnivore sleep is the best. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's one thing I did notice is the getting up to go to the bathroom factor is kind of chilled out. There have been a couple of nights when it's been I've been gotten to sleep later, but once I did, I was out. So that's just in the first week too. So hopefully again, we'll check in again. But there's one other thing I wanted to mention. You touched on the money factor earlier. I found that it is like actually massively cheaper, man, because we would be making runs to the store, just for like snacks, right? We're out in the boonies here. So, we would go to the gas station and you get a soda and you just get like the Twix bar and all this stuff. And, that's like $20 every time you want to go do that. Right. And so, this just makes it incredibly simple. Like just even the pack of breakfast sausages and a dozen eggs is like a lot of food. And, there's $5 right there, that was, it's just, for me, it's working out like way, way cheaper, man.
Yeah.
I'm only eating twice a day and all this stuff too. So
even for the prices of meat being up, I still feel like it's cheaper than the standard American diet, man.
For sure.
A bag of chips is like $7, man, and it's like it's filled with air. I mean, it's way cheaper. You actually get a steak for $8.
Yeah. It's people, you guys are doing the honest math. That's why people don't do the honest math. And some people come into it thinking, I was eating 3 meals a day and snacks. Now I got to eat 3 steaks a day and snacks. You don't eat as much when you're doing carnivore. You eat way less. But the other thing too is think of all that waste. Dr. Chafee was saying this before. Like if you go to the grocery store and you look at like the bread aisle, the Dorito aisle, the ice cream aisle, your body needs and uses none of that. So you're literally putting it in one end and it goes right out the other end. So you're wasting all of that money. But then the toll that puts on your body's like, what the hell is going on? I got to process Doritos and ice cream and this. And is there a toxin in this one? Is there a poison in this one? Your immune system's looking at it. And you got all of that energy wasted for years and decades for nothing. Your body's taking none of that nutrition. People on carnivore, they're like, I only drop a number 2 here like once every couple of days. What's going on? That's what you're supposed to do. You were going every single day or multiple times a day before because it was just all those Doritos and junk food. Your body's like, I don't need this. What is this garbage in here?
Yeah, I'll give you something my coach gave me quick. Both you guys, Zach. The law of cause and effect. Every action has a reaction, and these people think that they can't eat a salad with 15 different things in it and not have 15 different reactions. By law, you're going to have a bunch of reactions. I mean, there's just no way. I mean, it's a law. So
right.
And that's another thing we were talking about on the Carrie, I don't know if you heard that part, but I came from very much like the raw vegan perspective, right? And you'll see a lot of those guys that are doing pretty good, right? They don't get big or anything, but like you got to source stuff from all over the planet, right? And like if you guys are living in the Midwest or like the North, you're not supposed to be having like, I don't know, pomegranates and stuff like that. Does not grow in your environment, right? But what is there? Cows are for sure there. Like, and that too, and you see a lot of people talk about like the detox perspective, right? There's glyphosate on everything and all that. All that's probably going to bioaccumulate in the cow's liver and not into the meat, right? So you're already probably cutting down on that stuff a lot.
Cows are just natural filters with all those stomachs.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah, we got cows right here. I'm doing a video. Actually, next Saturday, I'm going to do a day in the life of my beef farmer neighbor. I'm going to get up at 4. I get up anyways, but I'm going to be over at his place at like 4:30 in the morning, filming the whole day. But that's the thing too, is it's the most natural thing in the world. These cows are grazing in a field of grass. They're not planting the grass. They're not turning the soil over, putting fertilizer and pesticides in it. The cows eat the grass. We eat the cow. I get 400 meals. And then, to Zach's point, you want something else. There's so many processed foods Emma was eating when she was doing vegan because she tried to eat mostly like cauliflower or vegetables, but she'd get bored or she'd just be starving all the time. Then you get all that weird processed vegan food. It's got to be packaged from Mexico or some other place, shipped across the country. It's like it's so far from natural. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
People always want to talk about the cows and the methane and stuff too, but I think that's kind of a misguided notion as well too. I mean, if you consider this continent before Europeans ever came here, there was hundreds of millions of buffalo on there, and now there just happen to be hundreds of millions of cows. And back then there was like literally no problem, right? I don't think it like adds up the way it's often kind of pushed that way from the environmental angle as well too. So
right, yeah, there's so many little things out there that try to steer us in a certain direction. Always got to question the motives. It's so tricky. Dr. Chafee was saying this too, which I didn't realize. He's like, no, we actually need more cows than we have now. He's like, if you look at the soil, it's like turning into the Dust Bowl. There's no nutrients in it left. And when those cows eat the grass, they poop on the grass, they fertilize it. That's some of the greenest grass I've ever seen right down the road from me. He's like, we need that desperately. He's like, we're actually getting to a point where there's going to be like no soil left. They want to grow a cauliflower now. They got to put so many different chemicals in there just to get the stupid cauliflower to grow in the it's basically like sand or dust at this point because of there's no natural fertilizer in there anymore. But it's lots
I was thinking about that the other day too, man. We drive by some cows on the way into town too, and there are all these white birds around them, and I'm like, where do you always see those birds chilling there? And it's like it's symbiotic. Once the cow turns it up with the hoof, then they can eat bugs that are underneath, and then they'll do that too. But it's like it's good for the land, it's that stuff, like the soil and everything, like you're saying, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a stretch that you're gonna say that cow farts are gonna be destroying our planet.
Right.
No.
Yeah, it's so tricky with so many of the messages we hear too, because it's like there's a weird theme that every message leads us to not eating meat, and yet myself and everyone I know that's eating meat is just thriving. But all the and so many of those messages I've heard my whole life were just complete lies and propaganda. Like,
I was talking to Adam about Weight Watchers. Just look at the name. It's not called weight burners.
Right.
They're not stupid. They understand it. They're just getting you to watch your weight, and they're making money off you.
Yeah. If you lose the weight, they're out of money.
Exactly. That's why it's not called weight burners. People need to wake up and even look at what these company names are. Like, you need to be aware.
Right. Well, and that's the trickiest thing with carnivore is you eat meat and everything gets better. Who's making money off of that? Yet if you're sick or you're watching your weight because you're not losing it, Weight Watchers is still making money. Or even if you're doing like Atkins or something, you got Atkins bars and everything. Carnivore, there really isn't much to make money off of. There isn't any real big motive or anything like that for them to push you towards it. I think what's going to be really interesting going forward is to see if we start doing more studies on carnivore. It's so hard to do it because there's no money to be made. People keep saying that as an argument against it, but most of
those are people who've got greedy intentions instead of they'd rather see their fellow man die for a profit.
Yeah.
Hey, I say change and make the system change. Like if Kellogg's is selling breakfast cereal, maybe they'll start selling water bottles. I told Adam.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Make them change. That's on them.
Yeah. Kellogg's is the worst too, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
All those studies that we heard, you almost never have a study that costs millions of dollars unless there's going to be a pill sold at the end of it, or it's secretly sponsored by Kellogg's because they're trying to push you towards sugar. There's no incentive for someone to do a big carnivore study, although there are some more coming out now. I think Dr. Baker's got some he's working on. I hope they do many more, but I'm really going to be interested in the next 10, 20 years, 30 years to see about carnivore and cancer and sugar and cancer, because there's a lot of stuff coming out about that now too. There's so many crazy things, and
I would like to see someone actually in the process of cancer and eating carnivore diets and see if it helps them, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah, there's a couple of studies and scientists that have been working on that. I've watched a couple really interesting YouTube videos from someone recently, but yeah, it's crazy all the things that change on carnivore. I got to go in for a checkup. I've had an irregular heartbeat since I was 6. When I was in kindergarten, I had to wear all these suction cups. Every couple of years I go in, it's just the weirdest heartbeat. And the other day I was watching TV and Jen had her head on kind of on my chest watching TV together. She's like, I don't think you got that weird heartbeat anymore. I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
And it was weird because then just a couple of days after that, I heard someone else say the same thing. And then I learned too, I've got Dr. Avadi on next week, so I'm going to ask him about it, but I'm going to double check. When you're in ketosis, your heart pumps way more efficiently than when you're burning sugar for fuel. I never knew that. And I have all sorts of heart problems besides the irregular heartbeat. I haven't really talked about that too much, but I have congestive heart failure. I have a low ejection fraction.
Okay.
I've had issues for years. I'm not on them anymore, but I was on heart medication for years. If none of the cardiologists ever told me though, not that it would have cured my issues, but if I would have known, like, dude, if you just stick to that keto that you're yo-yoing on, it's gonna probably help your heart out, even if it only helped at 5%. I wish I knew that, but none of them ever told me that, and it's legit. Like, you guys can Google it and look it up. I'm not making this stuff up. If your body's in ketosis, your heart functions way better than if you're burning sugar for fuel. I think your brain does too. I think they did some studies on that as well. The brain in ketosis and the heart in ketosis.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think most of these doctors are trained on diagnosis rather than nutrition, and that is,
Absolutely.
we need to change the system bad, man, because we can change that and maybe have 3/4 of them, 80% of them focused on nutrition, and then there be less people to diagnose, and you wouldn't need such a big group of people. I don't know. It's just my mindset. We just got to change the mindset, and you can change
It's got to change, because every issue and ailment that I had leading up to this was all nutrition, and not one doctor ever mentioned it. I feel foolish in retrospect, like, oh, duh. But I didn't know I was snoring because of nutrition. That would never even cross my mind. I thought it was just because I was fat. I had a big fat neck. I was 100 pounds heavier than I am now. Got to lose the weight. It's going to take months. No, I stopped snoring when I was still fat, when I still had most of the weight on. It was just the inflammation. I hope that with the carnivore diet documentary, that's going to kind of, one thing I'm thinking about for the end of it. It's like, if you guys take nothing else away from this, and you think carnivore's crazy, that's all fine. Just take this away: 99% of the things that you're going to the doctor for, and the reason healthcare is so expensive and crazy expensive in America, is because you're going to the doctor for a nutrition problem, and the doctor's completely ignoring that and trying to slap a pill on you, and it's not fixing the problem. So therefore, you're still sick and you're having more and more problems. Well, why is healthcare so expensive? It's like, oh, duh. Almost the majority of things people go to the doctor for, it's just nutrition.
It's so preventable. Simple. It's all preventable.
Yeah.
That's why this documentary's got to get out there.
Yep. My arthritis, inflammation, snoring, depression, anxiety, IBS. I had GERD, acid reflux. Every single one of those things I went to the doctor for. I had my gallbladder removed. It probably didn't need to be removed. It was borderline. My stomach hurt so bad. The guy's like, maybe it'll help. I don't know. All of those things, just nutrition. Not one doctor ever mentioned it. So, yeah, I get fired up on that. But,
and you guys, after this live stream, Carrie is doing. He's going live with. Who are you going live with?
Meet Mom. I got to get going, guys. I hate to leave, but my mom's actually calling me right now. I'm gonna get yelled at by Mom if I don't hurry up and get on this next one. 3 o'clock.
All right, yeah, you guys. So he's about to meet the parents. Make sure you guys tune into that. Thanks for stopping by.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Nice meeting you, Zach, and good luck.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that little surprise. I wanted to.
Yeah, no, that was cool, man. Thank you. Yeah, Carrie's the man for sure.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy. And when I asked Carrie, for everybody watching, like, there was no doubt. He just text back right away, 100%. Like, there was no hesitation. He wanted to, give you that extra bit of encouragement you need, and you deserve it, man. You're 8 days in. You made that decision to ride the tiger, and
yeah, man. Yeah,
if you ever do get a low, if you ever do get a low moment, you can put the video on and you can use it as inspiration.
Right. Yeah,
if you absolutely. Need to,
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to see just all kind of where this is going, and I appreciate you for reaching out and everything. So glad we had a chance to do this.
Yeah, and I'm glad I get to talk to you, so I'm glad I get to introduce you guys to the rest of the Tiger Gang, and I appreciate you, man. I really do. Like, you coined that phrase, and it means a lot to me, and
awesome.
This was an honor, man. And I do want you back for some more updates. I'm sure everybody else would, once in a while, whenever you feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? It's no pressure. Sure. Whenever you feel comfortable, we'd love to have you back for some more updates. And,
cool.
And I am so grateful to you guys for tuning in. Chatting with Carnivores is to support the Carnivore Diet movie. And so I got all the links down below. You can go hit the GoFundMe. You can buy your Compassionate Carnivore t-shirts like I've got. And me and Zach, we sharing stories here. And Carrie was nice enough to come on, and all support for the documentary. And I just did activate my memberships. Zach inspired me to start the Tiger Gang memberships. And if you guys want that ultimate level, the ultimate fans level, you can get personal coaching from me every month. Otherwise, the cheapest level is like $3 for the month, and you get priority shout outs and all that cool stuff during the chatting with carnivores. So, and you never know who's going to stop by, when they're going to stop by. So, because like I said, this all supports the documentary. So,
Yeah, man.
Zach, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll keep it going, man, and I'll be in touch. And
yeah,
we'll just go from here.
Cool. You guys say goodbye to Zach, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out, guys.
There you go.